But yeah, when it comes to dreams, it was like I was having all these very deep, vivid dreams, very detailed dreams about me going to all these very detailed locations. And it would be a fusion of like fantasy, like fantasy stuff that you would see in fantasy movies. And then it was like a mix of like real life places I've been. Like I remember there was one where it was like I went to like I went back to my old grandma's house, and it was like two different dimensions. It was like you look through the windows in the kitchen, it looked like it was dark outside, but when I went to the left, opened the door, and went to her back door, and you look outside, it was all beautiful and kind of looked like a dream-like sequence. So it was almost like I was going into that door led into a different dimension. And then I was seeing like these people that were all like green, and they were kind of dressed in white or whatever. I think it was white. And there was a time where I was like telling my friend, my so-called friend, all of this stuff, and then he was started like trying to interpret what it was. I never really told him to do that, but it was like he was looking at it in like a dark, demonic way. He was like, "Oh, that's demonic," if they all are the same color or they're all dressed the same. And it was like it's all about your perception and your belief. And I think what annoyed me is it was like I didn't think of it darkly like that, like demonic and dark and negative. And then he said something, he made it dark and negative. Because to me, I'm like, it's just a dream. Yes, you can interpret dreams any type of way you want, but he's like very religious, so he's looking at it like in a negative way. That's also why I kind of talk to him a lot less, because I'm like, I'm tired of people interpreting things like negatively all the time because they're low vibrational to a certain degree. Because why is everything always negative when it comes out of people's mouths? You know what I'm saying? It just gets draining. They'll like ruin some stuff that you tell them, and they'll ruin it for you because you'll start thinking, oh shit, that was kind of demonic, even though it wasn't really super demonic to begin with, if that makes sense. But it's all about, your perception and how you view reality and what your belief system is. He reads the Bible a lot, so it's like, that's why he was interpreting it like that. And I'm like, I read the Bible sometimes, for study. But to me, I'm like, everything doesn't need to be negative, bro. Like, I try to stay high vibrational, meaning I try to stay positive. I try to exercise a lot. And I really avoid being around a lot of people if I can avoid it. Of course, when you're at work, you can't really avoid stuff. But in real life, I just stay alone because I'm like, it seems like when you were a teenager, you could talk to people more. And I think it had more to do with the fact that as a teenager, you deal with a lot of disrespect more. Because when we look into the past, we have like these rose gold goggles lenses where we see it differently than what it really was. Because people in my past were still douchey, you know what I'm saying? Follow your boy. I'll tell y'all more story times about dreams, stuff like that. Peace.